On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Mosiah brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Hour Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from everybody. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Ancestral line.
Stay strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk review. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Mosiah, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tears that fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain, bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk review. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Mosiah, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with Sister Keisha, Brother Tad, Sister Mosiah, and Brother Blacksmith will be joining us shortly. I hope each and every one of you are having a good week so far. You know, a lot of things have happened, a lot of things in politics and in, society. So maybe we'll touch on that tonight. Tonight we also have guests who will be joining us in a little while as well. We will be joined by the director, writer, and star of the new hit film Mosiah that is now streaming on Amazon Prime. Brother Jirad and Brother Samuel Lee Fudge will be joining us in a few minutes. But also, let me get my brothers and sisters ready. Let me see. They getting ready. Take your time, Tad. You ready? All right, he said yes, ma'am. Brother Tad, OG Wisdom Podcast in the building. What's good, family? How are you?
Peace to the family. I'm good, sis. I'm good. How you feeling?
Good, brother. Good. We got a great show tonight.
Yes.
Got the producer and the director and writers of the film Mosiah that is now streaming on Amazon Prime. They will be joining us in about 20 minutes. So, family, get ready for that. We're going to learn some things maybe that you didn't know about Marcus Mosiah Garvey that you may have learned from viewing the film. And we'll see what else DigiBees has on the roster coming out and how you could be involved. So I'm excited about that. Also, we had the release of the MLK files, unredacted, if you will. We gotta unpack that. As we wait for all of the unredacted files on JFK and RFK, which I'm excited to see. A shout out to our brother Keith Farrow and sister Katasha, Chi-Town finest. Always on the check-in. We gotta show the family some love. Always to our brother Ashe SJ, the one and only fire guard. Gotta show love. Now, we are nice in Brooklyn. We behave in Brooklyn. So, we welcome the Bronx in, we let them all come through. Y'all see the tunnel? You see the bridge right there? We put the lights on the bridge, we welcome the Bronx in. But sometimes, the Bronx don't know how to behave. But, I don't know. Here come my brother Anunnaki, brother Blacksmith on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's good, brother? How are you?
Unmute your mic, brother. Unmute your mic.
Quack, 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 quack. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Happy to be here. There's a lot of stuff going on. Sister Keisha, I'm going to give it back to you till you're ready for me.
All right, brother. I'm the Bronx going to be on behavior tonight. We're going to see if it's going to be on their best behavior tonight. We're going to see. We're going to give them a pass. We're going to see. Because I know my brother got a lot to divulge to us because, as I've said, so much has gone on. We're going to get my sister Marcia up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Queen's finest in the building by way of East New York, Brooklyn. We in here heavy, sister Marcia.
Peace, family. Welcome to another powerful Thursday on Thorough Black Talk. The bridge is hot. Let's do it.
It's not Blacktastic Thursday today?
Took the thoughts out of my head, bro.
We didn't even get 2 minutes.
You got to start.
That's right, brother Black. Give it, brother Black. Give it, brother Black. Look at Marcia. She's like, why you got to start with me? I just got here.
Hey, Sister Keisha, I'm kind of upset. I'm kind of upset because her and Tad don't go at it at 8:30 no more. Excuse me, 9:30 no more.
We formed the truth. We decided we attacking all aliens.
Especially by way of the Bronx.
Intergalactically, brother Nanu. Shout out to Sister Farnessa. Shout out to brother Kev. Everybody else.
Big Mar in the building. What's good? Shout out to you, brother. Sister Donna. Brother Kerwin, Alabama, always in here. Heavy. K Rush 409, Philly in the building. By way of Far Rock. Let's get it. Sister Keisha, what's good? Kadir, how you doing, family? What's good, Sister Joyce? Brother Monty, always on the check-in, boy. Don't play with Suffolk. Don't play. Sister Brooke in the building. Don't mess with Sister Brooke, boy. I'm telling you, she be out in them politicians, boy, especially here in New York. She be, Woo! Y'all gotta follow Sister Brooke. I'm telling you. I'll let her do her thing. Sister Farnessa, what's good? You know the bridge is always shaking. You know that. Sister Letitia, what's good, brother? Hey. South Kakalaki in the building. That's my family right there. Stop playing.
Brother
Cousin
Kev,
Wayne, good.
I'm trying to see if Brother Kev number's the same because I tried to text him something yesterday. Actually, the same files you sent me, I sent.
Okay.
See if his number's still the same. So, Brother Kev, let me know.
Let us know. Let us know. If you switched up, let us know. Let us know. Wayne in the building, Brooklyn in here heavy. That's a real OG right there. That's a real OG, not none of them fake ones.
Look, whenever you see Hopkins, you know.
You already know.
As soon as you see Hopkins, you better know.
But, you know, family, like I said, so much has happened in the past week or so. So, brother Black, come and give us this 1-2 flavor. What's good?
Well, that plane hitting that helicopter this morning in D.C. is a game changer.
Talk about it.
Oh man, I don't know what to say. It's still early. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I was discussing with my brother a little while ago on the phone that what I'm thinking is I wrote an article a few days ago. Hold on one second. I don't remember the title, so I want to get it right. The name of it is Manipulate the Media on my blog, which is named Melanin Institute melaninstitute.blogspot.com. And in that article, what I was saying by manipulating the media is we in a whole nother paradigm now. Okay. Since April 8th of last year, we in a different dispensation or dimension or whatever you want to call that. And with Trump now officially back in office as the president apparent, not, behind the scenes as the corporation guy or something like that. But, give me 1 second so I can adjust. Is that a little better? That a little better? Okay. So with all what happened last year, in my opinion, I believe that with Trump back officially, they had to up the ante, and thus when he was talking about buying Anderson in Canada, buying Greenland, and then repossessing the Panama Canal Zone, it seemed like the day or two after we started seeing that in the news heavy, and right before the inauguration, that the fire started. Now that he's talking about all these welfare cuts and Section 8 and all this other stuff, taxes with the child support and all that other stuff involved in there, he has the news narrative or the news cycle back. And so now they did something else to regain it so that they can do their dirty work behind the scenes and he can continue doing what he's doing behind the scenes while nobody sees what's going on. So basically, the last week of all those talking with the financial systems and so on and so forth, with the taxes and the child support, he regained the narrative or the news cycle, and this is how they took it back by crashing a plane into a helicopter, everybody's dead, so on and so forth, as well as the other things that's going on with the money. Sister Keisha, you even said the day after he got back in, you were profitable with your investments and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things going on that we're not going to be privy to at this time, but we're seeing the manifestations of what's going on and how they're trying to stop him. Because, and I'm going to be real quick to finish this. A lot of people are worried about not being able to get on the system and so on and so forth. But the prime example, and I believe I said this last week on the show, the prime example of what he's fitting to do is, while he's canceling or talking about canceling a lot of these programs, he's going to come back and save everybody like he did with TikTok. So I wouldn't worry if I was y'all out there, because he's not going to do anything to destroy his legacy. I believe he's sincere in at least seeing us get right. And when I say us, I'm talking about us, all four of us here on this panel, and people who look like us. So with that said, I'm going to yield back to you, sister, and peace.
Sister Farnesta has a question. She said,
and I'm on my best behavior today.
Sister Farnesta asked,
you're muted, Sister Keisha.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. She says, is it
still muted? We can't hear you.
I can hear her. I can hear
It's
you,
you,
sis.
Black. It's you,
You
Black.
can't hear her, Black. It's on you.
Sure,
Yeah, it's you.
Brother-
But anyway,
brother-
Sister Vanessa asked the question: is it true that someone of high importance was on the plane, Black?
I believe so. The intel, the early intel, I just got the, remember I told you I spoke to my man on the phone a few, maybe half hour ago, 45 minutes ago. And as well as somebody else on Facebook, I just seen, I was out all day, so I really didn't get into the meat and to the nitty gritty, but, I heard there was some Russian involvement, but I don't believe that because I believe that now that Trump is back officially and him and Putin, we all know they're united, and everybody was saying he was a Russian asset when he ran for office the first time. So I don't believe that there's an angle there. They're going to try to pin it on him. You remember back in the days when we were all younger, when if you were labeled a communist, you were like, okay, well, he's a communist, you know, disregard him and so on and so forth. I don't believe that. I don't know officially though. So, but there is a Russian connection to this, and we're going to see it flesh out in the next few days.
Real quick.
Well, one thing I have heard that they're talking about is the skater who has the Russian connection right now. So, yeah, we still just have to wait and do our own research to really understand how this plays out. But yeah, they're making a whole big deal over the skater. Oh my God, the skater, the skater, the skater.
Well, I don't know who the skater is, but I do want to send my condolences to the Brown family. There was a young sister on the plane named Denasia Brown who worked for American Airlines, and she is a relative of a close friend of mine named Dion Brown and Adrian White. I just found out today, you know, they posted it on their social media. And of course, when these stories happen, a lot of times our folks go ignored. You know, years ago, we had a campaign, say her name, Black women are dying. So I'd be remiss if I don't send my condolences and acknowledgement to the young sister, Denasia Brown. I believe she was in her late 20s, maybe early 30s, you know, beautiful young sister. And she lost her life in this tragedy. So, you know, we can't let our people be ignored when these events happen. So I just had to put that out there.
Thank you for sharing. That's really kind because we truly never know who our peoples are in these tragedies, right? So yeah, condolences to her and her family and team support, hugs of all types.
Right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Condolences to the family. But let's talk about because there's a dust up and there's some fakery going on too. There have been ICE raids in various cities,
Hello.
states, in the country right now. But I want to know your thoughts on what it is that you're seeing. And is there some things that you can recognize that that the government isn't telling us, if you will? So we'll start with Sister Marcia. What are your feelings on these mass raids that are going on throughout the country?
So our government fuels us on fear. So the fear propaganda is high amongst those who've been here for so long and those who are saying, well, I'm Puerto Rican and they're still trying to send me home. But, you know, Puerto Rico is an annex of America. So where are they sending me? So I just think like for right now, it's a whole fear propaganda and people are just like, oh, I can't move. And it sort of, you know, pattern wise remind me of pre-COVID where people were like, oh, they're gonna stop you if you move this way. They're gonna do this if you move that way. So we just gotta watch the pattern, right? And be mindful. And the thing that's so disruptive is that we really don't remember yesterday. Right? Because of the way content is thrown at us, we can't truly see yesterday. And so we're blinded by the patterns that are out there. But for right now, I would say like, shoot, Obama swept through Harlem, Bronx, Queens. Nobody was talking about it then. but they knew, they knew the sweep was coming. They smelled it in the street and they were saying it. So now they also know, but now they're putting it with fear. Before, when Obama did it, it was just like, oh, he just took them out and that was it. It was all good. He just cleaned up the streets. So there's a lot of fear mongering going on. And I'm not a team nobody. I'm just saying, watch the pattern.
Yeah.
Got you. Brother Ty, your thoughts on what it is that you're seeing with these mass raids that are going on throughout the country. And, we want to know your thoughts.
Hey, man, about time. I ain't mad at nobody. On Thorough Black Talk, we be on point. Sister Keisha, last year, you gave the functions of government agencies, Department of Homeland Security, DEA, ATF. Then we seen them rush Diddy crib. We saw that it was a little suspicious, right? Because Department of Homeland Security ran up in there, right? Still ain't got all the facts with that, right? That's crazy. Again, we come here every week, but we're everyday people. We're everyday Black folks that are literally on the ground. Remember, I said I was working with the migrants. Them people were very violent. I witnessed it with my own eyes. I've called the police on the migrants fighting over drugs, robbing people at the facility, literally taking $300, $400, $500 from their fellow Venezuelans, the ones who was trying to do right, and the police will let them go within hours. Knowing a brother like me, if somebody say I sneezed at them, I'm going through the bookings. I got an open case and I got to come back. So what I see going on with other people don't bother me. Part two to all of that. Again, we always on the right track. We've been caping for FBA because that's who we are. No disrespect to nobody else. But President Trump has stood firm on the 14th Amendment, gave it definition and clarity, and let it be known this law, this amendment, was for nobody else but descendants of slaves, Black folks that were here before this country was even formed into a country. You got to remember, our enslavement was longer than the existence of this country. And now with all types of information, we knew that a lot of our family members were here prior to the Mayafas, prior to the transatlantic slave trade. Because I keep telling people, when you do your lineage, you don't just got one group of people. It takes 2 parents to make you 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. Just keep doubling the number. So within 5 generations, you can have a few hundred people that it took to create you. A few hundred people ain't gonna have the same exact history. Let's be for real. That is crazy. Ain't gonna have the same history, culture, or experience. That's what makes each of us unique that is alive in this day and time. That's why I say find the value in your own life. But when people could give a historical frame of reference to what we are dealing with today, because everything you deal with has a beginning. And once you know the beginning, you can see the direction that it's going in. So kudos to Trump for at least acknowledging that much of what other people are benefiting from was specifically designated for Black Americans. People crying about the DEI. You don't cry about DEI, I hope you DIE. Get out my face with that. We've already had laws in place to protect us and our rights. But if you know who you are and you know how to function in this society and stop falling for the okie doke that mainstream propaganda is giving you, you'll be fine. Like Sister Marcia said, it's a fear campaign. They sell you on fear with every president, every season, every year, whether it's anthrax, whether it's terrorism, whether it's some kind of animal flu, whatever's going on. Just be afraid and know that I got you, so put your trust in me. That's the narrative. But once you have faith in yourself, right? Look, we talked about Dr. King in some of the documents that was released. But one of the things I love, Dr. King has a speech called "What is the Blueprint for Your Life?" What is the blueprint for your life? And he gave 3 points. I wrote them down. They somewhere around here. I'm gonna find it real quick. But everything was about you controlling your own life. Stop giving into external forces. Stop accepting identities about who you are given by other people. Listen to that inner voice within you. But you can only do that when you get right information, right knowledge, and do your research. You have to stop being lazy and taking other people's word for it. You have to do your own due diligence. So what I see right now is an awakening. I have to agree with my brother Black. We get ready to go into the 5th dimension. So everybody gets an elevated on, because there's a paradigm shift when you see Black people in support of a white man to the magnitude that we see going on with Trump. And it ain't that we love President Trump. Let's be clear. However, when we hear truth, when people say things that we agree with, we can't let our ignorance dismiss our logic and say, well, now I don't agree with my point. I don't agree with the thing I've been saying because he said it. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that's what a lot of people do.
But Ted, not to cut you, but didn't Garvey understand that same principle?
Garvey understood.
Which is why he appealed to the Klan. You know, you got a problem, we got a solution. Look, you understand what I'm saying? But people don't know how to connect dots. Malcolm as well, yes.
Muhammad understood it.
Yeah, Malcolm was the one that said, I just want the truth and I don't care who it come from. Something like that, paraphrasing.
I'm for truth no matter who tells it.
And Garvey is prolific with saying that this whole world is run on a bluff, right? And this is the same time where the propaganda campaign started coming out, right? What's the person, Tad probably knows his name, that started the propaganda campaign, and and really kept telling people that they're bluffing you, they're scaring you, they're doing this, they're doing that. Stand strong, Black man and Black woman. And yet we still stand small. We need to, start looking at our squares and putting those pillars into place.
It's working, Sister Marcy. It's working. You gotta look at the grand scheme of things, we are always a fighting people, period. And like, Brother Tad says, when you study your own lineage, you gain some truth and understanding as to who you are. Why am I this way? Why do I do the things that I do? Why do I like the things that I like or don't like, for that matter? But it's very, very important that we understand this and understand history. But something to Tad that Tad said, and we're going to come right back and we'll bring our guest in here who are queuing up behind the scenes. So in the meantime, to confirm or in conjunction, if you will, what Tad was talking about, let's play this clip and we'll come right back.
Okay, so all over social media, I see everyone up in this uproar, this panic. People first, they were saying that Donald Trump, he revoked the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which is not true. Then we're hearing that he somehow revoked the Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1972, which is also not true. So I want to walk you guys through this just to give you a better understanding of what exactly is happening here. Let's just stick to the facts and no feelings. Okay, so first, Donald Trump did sign an executive order yesterday, January 21st, 2025, titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity. This is obviously to combat DEI. Now, we got to get clear about what exactly that executive order entails. Now, I've gone through some of it. I haven't gone through all of it yet, but I've gone through about half of it. And I can tell you that based upon what you guys are seeing on social media and even in the media, you're being given a false representation of what is actually happening. Now, first, if you look into the language of the executive order and you go to section 2, you're going to see in the part that I have highlighted here, it states, I further order all agencies to enforce our longstanding civil rights laws and to combat illegal private sector DEI preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and activities. So this executive order is actually ordering that the original civil rights laws do remain in enforcement. And Donald Trump couldn't even change that in the first place anyway, because it is a law. An executive order is not going to supersede a law. Only Congress can actually change the law. So in essence, what Donald Trump is doing is he is making changes to the executive orders that came subsequent to that law, after that law. One of those executive orders being Executive Order 13672 of July 21st, 2014. And if you look here in the parentheses, further amendments to Executive Order 11478, equal opportunity in the federal government. So what does that mean? So what is Executive Order 11478? Well, that is an executive order that established a policy of equal employment opportunity in the federal government, and Richard Nixon signed this in 1969. Now, let's see what does it do? It prohibits discrimination in the federal government based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, and age. Now, what happened since then? It has been amended. What has it been amended to include? In 2000, it was amended to include sexual orientation and status as a parent as protected classes. In 2014, it was amended to include gender identity as a protected class. So what Donald Trump has done is he revoked those executive orders that were amended after the Equal Employment Act. Now, also in subsection 3, you'll see reference made to Executive Order 11246 of September 24th, 1965. Equal employment opportunity is hereby revoked. Now, it is not the Equal Employment Opportunity Act, but let me show you exactly what it is and why that executive order was revoked. Now, if you look at subpart B, contractors agreements, and section 202 of Executive Order 11246, you'll see the requirements for federal contractors. The contractor will not discriminate against any employee or applicant for employment because of race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin. So therefore, there was an amendment made to these laws through executive orders. Donald Trump is revoking those executive orders for 90 days, by the way, in order to reassess the implementation of these policies in the federal government to ensure that everyone is getting a fair opportunity. So while I know a lot of us are probably very upset and some people are panicking, and I would argue it's due to a lot of the rage baiting and the manipulation of the media and a lot of bad actors on social media, the fact remains, no, Donald Trump did not somehow erase the 1964 Civil Rights Act. He did not revoke the Equal Employment Opportunity Act of 1972. Donald Trump, he revoked the executive orders that were written after those laws were passed as amendments in order to ensure that those executive orders were actually in compliance with the law and that they were not discriminating with Americans.
So there you have it, family. There you have it. A little bit of explanation, a little bit of understanding for you. But, you know, we'll get into that a little bit later. But we have our guests who are queued up. I see. So we're going to bring them in. But I want you all to just understand how important this film is. This is a film about 40 minutes long. It's directed by Brother Jirad, written by Brother Jirad and Samuel Lee Fudge, produced by Alima Albari, and the production companies are Alima Industries Media Group, the DigiBees. Editor and cinematographer Jirad, composer Sean Martin. This is an important film. There has never been a film of this kind done on Marcus Mosiah Garvey. The synopsis of the film, of course, you and all of you who are watching should know that he is a Jamaican-born political activist, founder of the Universal Improvement Association, or the UNIA. He was on trial in New York in 1923 following the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, or Gay Edgar Hoover, as we say, formerly the BOI and then later the FBI. The government has charged Garvey with mail fraud in connection with selling stocks for the Black Star Line, a shipping line designed to forge a link between North America and Africa. Garvey sees the trial for what it is, an attempt to end the movement by way of his character assassination. Realizing his counsel is not up for the task, Garvey fires him and resolves to defend himself. As the trial plays out, flashbacks show a glimpse of Garvey's life before the trial and his relationship with his wife, Amy Jacques Garvey. This is the first ever narrative film about his life. Let me say that again. This is the first, not the second, not the third, the first. Okay? The first, family, the first. So we're going to play a little clip and then we're going to bring our guests in here. I see them in the background. We're going to play this clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Here we go, family. Is it playing for you? There you go.
I'm going to quickly reject the racist assumption of white America's ideology that God created the black man inferior. Because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God too must in some sense be black. It's time to unite our brothers and sisters across the country and sail to Africa. Liberia is calling us now.
And what happens when the government tries to stop us?
By the time they try it, it will already be too late.
They claim to uplift the Negro race, to persuade Negroes to buy shares of stock in the Black Star Line.
This trial is politically driven. They want to end the movement by assassinating my character.
By not taking the plea, you face a mandatory 5 years in prison.
Do you see any fear in my eyes?
Who does he think he is? Black Moses?
You'd better stop him quick. He's gonna tear this whole country apart.
How much longer will you endure the pain and suffering that this country places upon you? Dive down, black men, dive down and dig.
Hold your head high, Marcus. You are not the first the system has tried to break, and you will not be the last. The future of our people relies on you.
Africa for the Africans!
Family. You ready? Let's clear the Brooklyn Bridge. We got to clear the bridge. We got to clear the Brooklyn Bridge. We got them coming across the bridge tonight. I know Brother Tag got the applause ready. We ready to come in. But I want y'all to know that this ain't no fly-by-night stuff. These are well-accomplished men. You know, I know y'all like degrees. They got them too. So these are well-accomplished men in their field, and I'm excited to have them on this platform, Thorough Black Talk Worldview. I don't know if y'all can see a resemblance of Garvey and our brother Sam, but I don't know. I don't know his ancestry. I don't know. I have no idea, but it could be a connection. Without further ado, we got our very own brother Jirad up on the bridge with our brother Sam. Welcome to Brooklyn, brothers. How are you?
How you guys doing?
Peace,
hey. Ashe. Peace.
We glad to have y'all on the Brooklyn Bridge. We want to run straight out the gate. I don't want to keep y'all too long, but you gotta talk about the film. I mean, it's gaining momentum and steam. Everybody that I sent it to, they watched it, they talking about it, and people for the first time, I mean, big and grown adults for the first time knowing something about Garvey. Sparking an interest.
Yeah, that's a testament to the work and to the dedication of everyone that's been involved with this film. I am immensely proud of what we've done. You know, starting with being on this show, you know, announcing our fundraiser to try to get money to redo the reshoots. I ain't gonna name no names, but somebody on this show is an associate producer on the film because they they put their money where their mouth was and graciously.
Anything else y'all got going on?
Hey, I appreciate that. It means a lot. It really does. And I'm gonna say this, and I'll let Sam say what he wants to say. Like I said, I'm so very proud of this. Thank you for saying Sean Martin's name. It means a lot to me. I actually got my Sean Martin shirt on today. Mm-hmm. He's a very important person, a part of this team, who is now an ancestor, and he was a close friend of mine, and he changed the whole tone of this film. So I am indebted to him. He literally got the last cut of music to me like days before he went to the hospital. So I am totally indebted, and I'm thankful to him. But since we've been here, we've finished the film, of course, and we've been touring it with festivals all over the world. Italy, Canada, Africa, Colombia. We've done a Caribbean tour. We've been in 37 festivals, done over 50 screenings, won 18 awards. We're now nominated for a Black Reel Award. I can't say enough about how proud I am of our team and how humble I am that people have appreciated the work that we've done, and that it's doing exactly what we want it to do, which is make an impact and sparking interest for those who didn't know, and reigniting interest for those who did.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. I mean, you could just feel it coming through the screen. It's like, he said, "Catch me in a whirlwind," but I don't know. Right. I guess the breeze hit Brother Sam. I think he got caught in afro over there. I don't know what happened, brother. I don't know what happened.
Like turtleneck and afro.
I don't know. You got caught in the whirlwind, brother. Tell us about what it was like. Why did you want to write about Garvey and, eventually play him in this film?
The journey started years ago. 33, not 33. I'd say maybe 25, 26, 20. Early on in my childhood. I had I just say this, I had a great understanding of my social surroundings. I understood at a very early age what was out of place, what didn't go, what wasn't meant. The ways of living for Black folk didn't make sense to me in comparison to other classes of people. I noticed that our people were more in need and help of uplifting and guidance. And as I'm being aware of these things, I had very significant and important people in my life. For an example, my cousin, who at an early age of 23 was a state representative in the state of Georgia, also making history herself, being one of the first African Americans to do that in the state of Georgia, and being the youngest. Her being at a HBCU at a time, Spelman College, which was my first college experience. Experiences like that, it cultivated me. And from that, I gained a strong sense of identity in myself. And I yearned the position or the platform to be an impact to our people. And that carried on up until my adult years. Fast forward, and here in the States, I'm so used to doing international interviews. I'm like over in the States, but we are in the States right now in this one. During the time, we had some significant, crucial events. We had the death of George Floyd. We had the death of Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin years prior. The social climate was just messed up, and we were out of answers. We didn't know how to make changes. We didn't know how to change things. And just going back to what I knew best, I tried the approaches of protesting. When George Floyd passed, I was in the streets of Atlanta protesting, trying to get my voice out. Same thing with Ahmaud Arbery, but yet and still, I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel like my voice was making an impact. I would come back at the end of the night from having protested and felt empty, like there was no effective change. And just going back to my education and my lessons in the past of who Marcus Garvey was and what he stood for and what he taught our people. And I wanted to use him as a platform to get my voice out. And doing so, Mosiah came about. You know, I wanted to make a change. I wanted to give people the answers, give people the blueprint, show us how to properly unite and make an effective change. You know, and I've always believed in the ideologies and philosophies of Marcus Garvey. And so, like I said, it was my time to make it be known. It was my time to make a statement. And thankfully, through Jirad and Alima, you know, they helped that dream come to light. They was the strong force behind that and making it happen, you know. And so just as Jirad, you know, I'm extremely humbled and grateful. A lot of this stuff is still surreal to me because we knew we would make an impact, but we didn't know how much of an impact at the time that it would make. Like Jirad mentioned, we've been all over the world with this project. You know, I was just in Jamaica a couple of weeks back, spreading messages and also sharing this film and just getting their reactions to it. And Jamaica was a huge awakening for me because there I saw the conditions of other Black people. You know, that was my first time being international. That was my first time leaving the States. And so I was able to see how other Black people lived over there. And it's not a huge difference than what we're going through over here. And just learning from having our screenings in the UK and other places, man, Black people are going through the same struggles and the same fights in other countries, man. And so just this project is perfect timing. You know, it's a push to make a change. And now that I think the pardon couldn't came at a better time because now we have the attention of the mass. And also, believe it or not, Trump being in office is perfect timing as well, because now everybody is awake and trying to find the answers. So through this film, we give you the answers and we will enlighten. If you open your heart, your soul, your spirit, and allow this project to move you. Jirad, I, and everyone else on the team collectively did an amazing job and was very intentional with our message and our work within this project. So it's already making an impact, and I foresee it making a broader impact, you know, worldwide, more worldwide.
Definitely.
Yes, get your flowers now, brother. Brother Tad, before I start hogging the mic, any questions you got for our guests?
Nah, I just want to thank them. You know, it's greatly appreciated. I think Sister Marcia had made a mention of the father of propaganda. And I knew it was Bernays, right? But I didn't want to say Eric Bernays because I know that's the singer, but it's Edward Bernays. But propaganda is a very effective tool. And what we have to realize is just as our people have been conditioned, we have to decondition them with the same tools. And I think this is so perfect. And like you said, this is the perfect time right now because people can get acquainted with the teachings of Garvey. Real quick, I remember as a child, I used to always see pictures of Garvey, but I went to a public school and I would ask why we don't learn about him. I was told people like him and Malcolm weren't very good people. And that always sat in the back of my mind because I went to a Black daycare where we learned about Kwanzaa and we learned about freedom fighters. So I kind of got the little idea when I was young, very early, how there is a propaganda campaign. Though I didn't know there was a word for it, I did know that the teachers tell me one thing, but the community and the family tells me something else. So we have to find a balance within the society, this world that I was growing in. So for y'all to make it digestible for people who don't want to read anymore, it still garners interest. Like we were talking about the film last week, and we was talking about the production. The whole thing was a total package. It was beautifully executed because sometimes you get a great idea, horrible production. You know what I mean? Or you get a great production and horrible idea, but y'all have the sweet spot and just let it flow. It's clear that it's been ordained by the ancestors that this is your life calling. This is your life's work, you know, and I'm quite sure there's much more to come, but this is a hell of a way to bust out the gate.
Yeah, hopefully we get a series out this joint.
All right.
That's some of the comments that I saw actually online. Like, is it gonna be a part 2? Like, wait a minute, hold on. But you know,
it will be if people go and support. Buy it, rent it, view it, do it from the comforts of your home. Come on.
There you go. You ain't even got to leave nowhere. Now, because I want people to really understand what they have before them. Our brother Jirad, the director of this film as well. And shout out to his queen too. We're gonna get into her as well. We're gonna get into sis as well. But brother Jirad, let the people know some of the things that you worked on in the past that you may be familiar with.
Yeah, we've done. I met my wife in a band, and we were doing like print work and video work for our band, and so people asked us, who was doing this stuff for your band? So it kind of like was an easy transition into doing like music videos. So we started doing music videos for people that we knew, and then that grew into other people. So we've done music videos for Gino Young, Carmen Rogers, Eric Roberson, Fred Hammond. So we've done a few films, a few feature films. One namely called Circles, which is a bit of a hood film, but it is a hood film that centers around the AIDS epidemic and how casual relationships are linked to that epidemic, and how your circle of friends can be affected. So even though that's like literally our first film we worked on, our first feature film we worked on, it holds a special place in our heart. But yeah, and we've done plenty of like corporate work and stuff like that. We have a background that did a lot of dance films. So the interesting thing I would say, that kind of set the stage, is right before we were working on this, I was working on a documentary about Black representation, and it just kind of like got my mind right. You know what I mean? Like I'm already like in that zone, like studying Black representation and like trying to see what I want to say about Black representation, how necessary it is, how we portray us and our people. And in that, a couple of things, a couple of takeaways. One is, a lot of times I'm so glad he talked about traveling the world. A lot of times we as Americans, and I definitely say this about FBA especially. We tend to think we have like the copyright on oppression or enslavement, and slavery and oppression and colonialism happened the world over. So it's interesting to like really study how it affected other places. And in particular, one of my parts of my series is the evolution of films about slavery. And so once I get outside of America, like there's plenty in America, and there's a huge there's so much that you can say about America and its ideology and how that affects media. There's so much you can say, but then when you get outside of America, it gets really interesting how when you see it, how it affects other places. But Cuba, in particular, they actually realized that a lot of the adults weren't going through the school system and weren't learning that well. So they set aside money to fund filmmakers to make movies. So there are some films that I studied by a filmmaker named Sergio Giralt, who made these films about slavery. One's called El Otro Francisco, which means the other Francisco, which is like the Cuban version of Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's very interesting. Think of Uncle Tom's Cabin, someone approaching Uncle Tom's Cabin, and this is his methodology. It's like, let me show you the romanticized version of it. Let me show you how they wrote this in Uncle Tom's Cabin. Now, let me show you if Uncle Tom's Cabin was real. Like, let me show it to you almost like a documentary. So that's what he did, like in the 70s. So that kind of thought process, like how media can be used to teach. And then one other flashpoint for me that I do homage to in my own film is Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation, known as they showed it at the White House. The president said it was history written with lightning. The Klan was defunct when this movie came out, and it reignited the Klan. The Klan didn't burn crosses at that time, so they got that completely from the film. Once they decided they were going to reignite the Klan, they got on top of Stone Mountain and reformed the Klan. And that, if you see the film, there's a part that I show Stone Mountain when Garvey goes to Atlanta to visit the Klan, and it's a subtle homage to that fact, and definitely to put it in perspective that he went to visit the Klan on their own turf, where they were the strongest at. But that's setting the stage for me to understand how powerful media is, and I want to be able to write history with lightning. I want to be able to inspire people, the reformation of a movement, and most importantly, as an artist, people having discussions and talking about liberation and talking about Garvey and Garveyism. There's no higher praise that I can get than that. And that's been the best thing about all these film festivals that we've done is conversations after. It has always been engaging, and it's always had to be cut off because it's gone over time, and you can see the passion in everyone's face when they talk about these things. So that's been the most rewarding part of this tour that we've had. So I don't want to pontificate anymore. I'm gonna stop. I'll leave it right there.
Brother, because in this age of hysteria, you got so many people right now that just shook. They don't know which way to move. And as you said, this is right on time, Brother Sam. This is right on time. Either you sink or you swim. It's putting us in a position where we have to depend on ourselves. Here on Black Talk, we push the movement, free the Black vote movement, because we have been getting ping-ponged for over 100 years with this political regimes that are in place. So we have to do something differently. So, our mantra is to, people talk about a delineation movement. Delineate yourselves from these political parties and let's do for self. It's easy.
Right.
It has been done before. And I honored to be a part of that. We formed our own political party here in New York. So we can do it. It's not that difficult to do. Brother Jirad, Brother Sam, if you can, tell us what it was like working with Sister Alima.
With Alima? With Alima?
Yes.
Oh man, with Alima, shoot, there's no limitations. There's no we can't do it. There's no how we're gonna do it. Alima is exactly what she is. She's the producer. She's the genie. She makes it happen. I remember when I first sent her the script, I was like, hey, should I change some stuff around? I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. And she was like, no, don't worry about it. And then once we went into production, everything was there plus more. Even like with the grave scene, like how Jirad and Alima made that happen. That's just a small portion of Alima's capabilities, man. She makes it happen. And she's the motivation too. Like you see her going hard and you see her putting in all of the energy and running around doing the millions of things. How dare you even act tired around her on set? You know what I mean? How dare you? That's disrespect to her work ethic. You know what I mean? So like she was definitely the motivation. She was the believer. She kept the dream and the vision alive with this project. And she did exactly what she said she was going to do plus more. She made it happen. A script going into an actual project is a huge step. You know what I mean? A lot of times people create scripts, and a lot of times people have ideas, but they just stay just those things, scripts and ideas. But you put something in Lima's hand and she's passionate about it, it's going to come to life and she's going to make it happen. Definitely.
Yeah.
I love it. Go ahead, Brother Jirad.
I was just gonna say, Alima and I met years ago, and we immediately, it was like, what is that phrase? Namaste. How you see, I see the you and me. I think like I see that thing in you. You see that thing in me. Like we immediately clicked like that. Like especially in a working relationship, it was just like we understood what we could accomplish if we just like remove the boundaries, and how we could push each other forward. And Alima, even though she initially approached it, she initially showed us the script to see if we would just film it and film it and edit it. Once I said I was going to be a director, I wanted to direct it. Yeah, she was like, let me do whatever I got to do to make this happen. Like, whatever we got to do, whatever you need, you tell me what we need to do to make this happen, and we're gonna make it happen. Like, oh, let's go. So yeah, it's wonderful. I am so blessed. Like the Garvey movement, I am surrounded by beautiful, intelligent, powerful, strong-willed, opinionated Black women that get shit done. And that is, half of my superpower right there.
That's our sister Keisha. Black woman that get shit done.
We don't have time.
There's no greater Garvey way. Get it done.
We don't have time for foolishness. Enough is enough. It's good.
Applause for those sisters.
That's right. We got to have your back 100% as you have ours. That's the Union thing. And that's the philosophy that Garvey wanted us to understand. That's what he tried to penetrate through the masses of UNIA, that you and I am you, and we can't make it without each other. And like I said before, in this current political climate, I would hope that people will understand the philosophy that we have to depend on ourselves. We have no others to depend on. So I don't want to keep holding you, brothers. I know y'all busy. I don't want to do that, but I have one question in particular. What is some of the feedback that you have been receiving since it's been released on Amazon Prime?
You want to go first, Jirad?
I'm sorry. Somebody called me while you were talking. Did you ask the question again?
What is some of the feedback that you guys have been getting since it's released on Amazon Prime? Because I know a lot of people didn't make it to the film festivals that went around the world, to be precise. But what are some of the feedback that you guys have been getting so far?
Oh man, it's amazing. It's amazing. I won't pretend like everyone says all positive things. But I'll say the most I'll say this, the most common criticism, I won't call it negative, most common criticism is that they wanted more. Like it wasn't enough, which is a good thing to me, because if you hated it, you'd be like, oh, you shouldn't even done anything. So I take that as a compliment that you just wish you had more, and trust me, we want to give you more. Like, we want to use this as a proof of concept to push forward and get a series out of this for sure. But yeah, it's been glowing. It's an amazing thing. Garveyites, people that are in the trenches teaching Garvey and have been teaching it for years and keeping his philosophies and his teachings and his way of life, just keeping it in the atmosphere and pushing it on, to see the glowing reviews for them and to see the pride that they have in this project is unfathomable. I just can't even tell you. And then just the excitement of people that are just learning about Garvey, or we did a screening in Brooklyn, and I'm not even gonna say this sister's name at all, but there's a sister, she's a Jamaican sister, and she didn't know Garvey was Jamaican. She thought he was an African that was, that because he always was saying Africa for the Africans. So it's little things like that. At our screening in Detroit, one of the sisters said she didn't even know who Garvey was until that screening. Yeah. So it's like that opportunity, it's the thing that you're taken aback, but then you have to realize that not everybody has access to this information. So it's been wonderful. I'm so happy. I thank you, Biden, for this pardon, for leading this way. I will say this, someone asked about if we would change the end of our film to reflect the pardon, and I don't think we will. The last thing you see on our film, it says, "Join the fight to exonerate Marcus Mosiah Garvey." So that's still a fight. I just feel like we did the first step, and thank you for that step to help us get his name out there and get it out in the public. But that's, we want to still push for exoneration for sure.
Yeah, and to agree, it's the same feedback. Definitely positive. I think I had I was on another interview a couple of days back, and I mentioned there's no other fans in the world like Garvey fans. Like, people talk about Beyonce fans, people talk about all these rappers as fans, but there's no fans like Garveyites. So you have to imagine being in a area full of Garveyites and screening the first ever Marcus Garvey film. It comes with it comes definitely with its highs, but it comes with also those suggestions of wanting to do more. Could we do this? Because everybody, especially of our generation, who didn't get to experience Garvey firsthand, everyone has their own idea of our superhero. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And I may see him with a black cape, and this person may see him with a red cape, so we all have our own image of who our superhero is and what he looked like and what he talked about. What he talked like, which is why, number one, this film is important, because we're giving you our perspective on who this superhero was. And it serves as a media platform that's out there for people to learn off of and study into. Anybody who wants to play Garvey, they can pick up off this, and anybody who wants to create a film, they have the work of Brother Jirad to piggyback off of. But I just say that to say that he's our superhero. So of course, we people all around the world take that seriously. I do want to go back though to Jirad, with you mentioning Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation. To Jirad's point, this D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation was the first film shown at the White House. It was used as a tool to recruit Klan members, right? So here we are with Mosiah, the first narrative film based off the life of Marcus Garvey. What you think we trying to do with this? So it's you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's serious and it's deep. And I tell people all the time, like, it's deeper than just me being on screen and playing Garvey or writing. Like, Jirad knows, man, I'm serious about this. This is in my blood. You know what I mean? And I just can't stress enough how much we have to support this film, because this is ours. Jirad doesn't take credit enough, and Alima doesn't take credit enough that they funded this with help of many others, but a lot of their own profit. This is definitely Garveyism to the utmost. So we have to put this out there. There's no reason why we can support trash. We can support. And no offense to hip hop and rap. I love hip hop and rap, right? But no offense when we're boosting this stuff up and we're spending millions of our own dollars to push a narrative that's not being progressive towards our people. And here's a project that's progressive, solely progressive towards our people. At a time like this, we have to support this. And I wish and I pray, my vision is that every single Black person in the world gets a hold to this film, is inspired by it. But I just say that to say, man, like, going back to brother's point about propaganda and missed signals and messages and misuse of media and communications. This is our way of telling a narrative of a man who was wrongfully prosecuted for a crime he didn't commit. There was no proof of that. We can't forget about that point. Like I was telling someone else in another interview, we ain't make nothing up in this film. This is true and factual. Those details are correct and accurate. We didn't make nothing up. And Joe Biden's pardon is a proof of that. This is not a fictional film. This isn't something we just created out of the air. It's creativity. This is the truth. And we can't run from the truth no longer, because look at the predicaments that we keep ended up in. Look at the patterns. So when are we going to accept the truth? And this is the truth. This is our truth. So any support possible to get this film out. This ain't this ain't our Hollywood gig. This is solely passionate for the people, our love for the people, and what we do, and I'm like Jirad. I'm very proud of everybody who took part in this project, and I'm extremely grateful for you guys as well for helping us push this out,
Brother. Always. We keep it thorough. We keep it Black.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Pushing, media. That's one of the reasons why we're in this business.
Yeah.
Independent Black media. As Frederick Douglass says, too many have spoken for us. It's time we tell our own stories. So again, like Sister Amanetu says, thank you so much for creating this beautiful film. And for all of you who just getting a taste of who Garvey is, do your research, do some reading, reach out to Thorough Black Talk for review, and we'll compile a book list for you. In the chat is the website, mosiahthemovie.com, along with the PDF that we were displaying for you as well. So you guys can get more information and get involved, because I see big things happen. And Brother Taz will tell you, if I see something, it happens.
You saw it 2 years ago.
There you go.
Right.
Before I went back to our interview 2 years ago, and I was like, man, and look where we were then, and look where we are now with this, And so, no, you definitely, to agree, you definitely see it. Yeah, you're the visionary.
Yes, indeed, Brother Sam. I appreciate you. Like, again, I don't want to hold you guys because, and as a matter of fact, when y'all were in Jamaica, I had just come back from Jamaica. I was down there. Yeah, I was down there when y'all. As soon as you touched down, I had come back.
Can I say something?
Yes,
I also want to say that. Well, first of all, let me say I have something on my mind. I got to say there are no entry points. We didn't have to make an entry point into the story of Garvey. Like, we didn't have to enter from a story about J. Edgar Hoover. We didn't have to enter from the story of the plant. We come in Garvey. All of those people are secondary people, and there's no white savior in our film. This is for us, by us, about us, and there's no interference with the saturation of blackness in the story. But I just want to celebrate Danielle Pocket Brown because that is my wife and partner, and the executive producer for this film. And she's not an executive producer just because she's my wife. She is a filmmaker. She is the one that got me into filmmaking. So I just want to celebrate her. She definitely is the one. You get the call from Danielle Pocket Brown, you can definitely know something wrong. She the enforcer. But yeah, I just want
to. A good wife. Don't mess with a good wife. Bad things will happen to you.
Man, come on. She don't play about this one for sure. She did not play about Jirad or this film. Or you know how it go.
Yes, indeed, family. So again, brothers, this is your home. This is your home. Whatever y'all got going on, we got you 150%. Definitely, whatever DigiB's got going on, bring it here. We got you, brother. No problems. We got you. Brother Sam, you already know. You already know, King. Keep doing your thing. I am so proud of you guys. You have no idea.
Yes.
I am humbled and I am so proud, just to know you guys. I'm telling you, when your great-great-great-grandchildren are no longer here, they can look back and say, you see, lineage is important. Lineage is important. So without further ado, I'm going to let you guys go. Definitely appreciate y'all. Keep doing what you're doing, black men.
Thank you.
We appreciate you so much for the exposure then, the exposure now, and being a voice for the people. We really appreciate what you guys do here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Keep doing it, brother. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, you have it. Mosiah the movie out now on Amazon Prime. Make sure you rent it, buy it, whatever it is you got to do. It's fitting in your budget. There you go. It fits in your budget. Put them chips down and watch you some Garvey, and you'll be all right. You'll be all right. So again, thank the brothers for coming in and giving us the 411 on Mosiah the movie, and of course, any and everything that they have going on. You're going to know about it, so you can be involved in the next project. Because again, that's lineage for your family, right? We all, unless we got a magic pill, if you do, I gotta wait for us to make several billion before we go to sleep tonight. If you don't, we are gonna leave here, and you can have that as representation of who you were and your philosophy and your understanding of what it means to support Black and be Black by any means necessary. Sister Marcia, because she and I, we went to the premiere in Queens, the screening in Queens, rather. Shout out to Baba Amin. Baba Amin, Uhuru Academy. I forgot that. Bad, Keisha. Shout out to Baba Amin, because his consultation on the film as well. Shout out to them and everything that he's doing with Uhuru Academy. So definitely appreciate Baba Amin. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the film. But I would want to know any comments in particular that you have received after sharing its trailer.
My people are Black, and they are for Black empowerment. I've never received any type of negative anything. And should anyone want to say anything negative, they're just not going to say it to me, because they know I'm going to be like, please tell me what state you and your people are in. Because if you're only buying Louis Vuitton and you're sending your children to an 8-hour quote unquote educational center and they can't know about Garvey, please miss me with that. So I think people are really clear on who I am and what I'm about. Sometimes feathers may be ruffled, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. You got ruffled them feathers, you ruffled
right. Good ways and bad ways. And then you learn how to part in amicable ways, right? With a big heart. But this film is a real good tool. What I would hope as we move into the next 3 months, right? Because we really have steps to climb, and we really have to make these steps solid. I hope that within the next 3 months, in utilizing these tools, this as one primary tool, visual tool, that people organize, either join an organization or create an organization. I'm not for creating organizations, because that still creates many parts of the vision. Become part of an organization and create your subset so that everyone is flowing together. You could still have your own ideology, but you're working more as a team and a nucleus versus everyone being million miles apart, yelling the same thing. We keep arguing the same things and we're not really making headway. But I think that this is a tool, right? And we can really use it to make solid ground on the next step. We're working together. You know, I don't like this person in this organization, and you don't have to like nobody. I bet you don't like your boss, but you go to work every day and cash that check at the end of the week. So go into the organization, don't like that person, be a function, be a tool, use your skills, and build our community. We got cuckoo people say, and I'm like, he ain't cuckoo, he's telling you the truth, and you don't like the truth. You know, what's that movie? You want the truth? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. I don't know. Oh God, I keep something.
Yeah,
good
but I wanted to say that. I wanted to say because, as you said, this is a tool, and so many adults knew nothing about Garvey, and as our brother said, even in their travels, people who from Jamaica never heard of him. You see what I'm saying? So
why would they?
Why would they not?
They don't consider Black as valuable. They don't, even in IET, there are people that don't know of Dessalines and Tucson. They know, oh yeah, we got the revolution, but they don't know what its impact is. What it means. Yes, thank you. they don't know what it means to the global statue. They're like, oh yeah, they got their independence, but look at our country, got it. But they don't go outside to see how people praise and revere the works that these brothers do. We just don't value ourselves. And I need us to value ourselves because we matter. We matter more than most. We're dark matter. Anunnaki, go in.
That's why you got to stay on the job, Sister Marcia. That's why you got to stay on the job.
So you want me to go in from an Anunnaki level or Earth level? Okay. Thank you, Brother Tad, for that. Hey, you know, we gonna move forward regardless, and some people just gonna have to catch up to addressing those who you are talking about, Sister Marcia. We on a forward trajectory, and you know, us on this show and those listening, most of us are going to be the leadership. And I said this numerous times on shows, on this show and other shows that I present on. When the feces hits the cylindrical coolant of the air, keeping it you know, clean on this show. Anybody who don't want to listen got to get the hell out of our faces. That's just the way it goes. We don't got time. We thorough black talk over here. We've already proven ourselves with most of what we said here. You know, not everything we say come true or what have you, but it'll be close to it. And we still here and we standing. Ain't nobody coming over here saying, oh, these guys is this, these guys is that. And if they are, they ain't coming back because we already disproving them over time. And, you know, and we were doing it before this show even started. So we just go from there. That's my answer.
Speaking of shows before we even started, before we came on, I was looking at our old UAM program from 2009. So, you know, I keep looking. Don't play with my research. Do not play over here. But anyway, we mentioned earlier, there were some files that were released as it pertains to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Some of the things that you may have been aware of, some things not so much. But one of the things that stuck out to me is the amount of money that FCLC was getting from not just celebrities and, you know, Urugus but even the Rockefellers gave money to SCLC, right? I think y'all can see that on the screen. The other thing that stuck out to me was what some of the funds were used for, allegedly, right? In this, and I'll drop the link in the chat once we're done. But in this, in particular, this piece right here, funds from firms and foundations. In February of 1967, the firm of Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner, and Smith, a stock brokerage firm, contributed $15,000 to SCLC. In August 1967, Edward Lamb of the Lamb Foundation, Toledo, Ohio, donated some stock to SCLC, which had a market value of $6,000. Edward Lamb is well-known, successful businessman in Toledo, Ohio. It was learned in November of 1967 that the Ford Foundation was about to give SCLC $230,000. This money was to train Negro ministers in 25 cities throughout the nation to become qualified leaders in ghetto areas. Now, when I read that, some people may read that and say, yeah, well, but when I read it, I connect dots. In particular, what do they do with the faith-based initiative now? Every time a politician is running for office, in particular, they come to Black churches after greasing hands of Black ministers. So again, when you look at things in a single event, it's very important that you understand history so that you can connect dots so that you do not continue to make the same mistakes and following the wrong people. Because we have a nasty habit of searching for, seeking for, and looking for a charismatic leader to lead people. But what you don't understand is that your enemy also is looking for charismatic leaders to put before you. And they invest, as you can see here, heavily into their projects. Now look at the other side. When you look at Black particular politicians, if you can name 2 people who consistently give donations or money to these politicians for particular purposes, raise your hand in the chat. Raise your hand. Brother Anunnaki, behave. I asked that question because it was asked in these papers here, right? Look at all this money. During the year 1967, that is, Annie the Bulls Farnsworth, also known as Mrs. Peter Farnsworth, an heiress to the Clark Thread fortune, donated $50,000 to LCLC. In January 1968, it was learned she was in the process of donating $100,000 to King's Group. Dr. King is alleged to be the founder of SCLC from funds from government agencies. In early December 1966, it was determined that King's organization was about to participate in a $4 million loan from the Federal Housing Administration, the FHA, because of SCLC's involvement in a slum clearance program in Chicago, Illinois. Under existing government regulations, SCLC would share in 10% of profit allowed, or $400,000. Levinson made available $12,500 of his own money so that SCLC could participate in this program. Now, one of the things that you should know about this time also in Chicago, you had Jesse Jackson, Operation Breadbasket, okay? Now, for those of you who don't know what the real agenda of Operation Breadbasket, I'm going to tell you. It was a shakedown operation to businesses to prevent people from boycotting those businesses. That since has dissolved. It has grown into something bigger, which is called the Madison Avenue Initiative. When you see government entities and when you see these corporations giving all of these monies to this organization, how could you possibly believe that they are there to benefit Black people? One of the things that they said in this 23 pages is that King was influenced by, as Brother Black said earlier, the Communist Party of the United States. Now, the United States and Russia always had an interjection into each other's politics. This is just fact. Y'all can research it yourself. Now, remember I said that the first president, first Black woman to run for president was Charlene Mitchell. Charlene Mitchell ran under the Communist Party. The Communist Party is the house of Paul Robeson, also a part of said party. Okay, so they always had an involvement into the leadership and politics of Black people. So when you think you are independent, you really are not. When you think you are going against the systems, you are not. That is the belief that people like Charlene Mitchell and Paul Robeson and so many others understood at that particular time. that this is what they were doing. But we don't understand history and how white supremacy works. White supremacy always invests money into its own agendas and platform, as you see here. Now, another thing that they talk about in these 23 pages, they talk about what FDLC was allegedly using this money for. Now, again, we have to understand where it's coming from, and we have to understand how COINTELPRO actually works. But I'm going to read this to you anyway, because I want you to have a clear understanding, okay? King's personal conduct. With the funds that he had received from the Ford Foundation, King held the first 2-week workshop in Miami, Florida in February of '68. To train Negro ministers in urban leadership. One Negro minister in attendance later expressed his disgust with the behind-the-scenes drinking, fornication, and homosexuality that went on at the conference. Several Negroes and white prostitutes were brought in from Miami area to an all-night sex orgy, which was held with these prostitutes and some of the delegates in attendance. Sound familiar?
Is that where did he get it from?
Sound familiar? But again,
I'll blame Brian Rush.
What have I always said on this platform? Your sexual deviancies will be the death of you. I'm telling you. History, look, when you follow the thread, all of our greats seem to pretty much be accused of or entangled with these type of accusations. That's problematic. One room had a large table in which it was filled with whiskey. The 2 Negro prostitutes were paid $50 to put on a sex show for entertainment of guests. A variety of sex acts deviating from the normal were observed. Previous sexual experiences. This activity is not new to King and his associates. As early as January 1964, King engaged in another 2-day drunken orgy in Washington, D.C. Many of those present engaged in sexual acts, natural as well as unnatural, for the entertainment of onlookers. When one of the females shied away from engaging in an unnatural act, King and others of the males present discussed how she was to be taught and initiated in this respect. Now, think about Bayard Rustin. Why would Bayard Rustin want to push a queer agenda on top of a civil rights agenda? Where did Bayard Rustin get his bread from? As well, the same entities. When I say this thing is full of ops, this is full of ops. I'm telling you, y'all gotta be careful how you move out here. So many, even today, people who call others leaders or whatever can't get out of their own goddamn way with their own sexual perversions. Now, you have to understand that there were many things thrown against Dr. King, because that's just how J. Edgar Hoover operated. He too covering up his own flimsy. You see what I'm saying? When you look at how these government entities operate, who is selected to be your leaders, you have to understand why they are selected to be your leaders. I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm just reading the information that is here. Information that is here is everything is suspect. Everything is suspect. And this is just the recent 23 pages. If you go back to other years when things were released, a lot of stuff don't smell right in the water. And so I asked the question again, how can we continue to operate within the duopoly of this government and expect change? Look at the leaders in government today, the leaders in clergy today. Nothing has changed. And I know people came to look for dirt, but I'm putting this before you because I want to teach you how to connect dots. Because I'm tired of the foolishness that goes on. Brother Tad, your thoughts on the usurping, if you will, or the unredacted files released this week on Dr. King.
Hey man, it's a blow. It's a blow. It's unfortunate that that they try to tarnish the reputation. I'm glad you put it out there, you know, whether we believe it or not. We see it as a weapon that's constantly used on how they use and manipulate our people. There's so much more I want to look into and unpack, because even with the Communist Party, I believe Dr. Clark talked about it, and Dr. Clark did talk about Paul Robeson, if you will. Sister Keisha, can I show you that clip? It's about 2 minutes of Dr. Clark and the Great Mighty Walk.
Good. Do you think?
Yeah, let me share that real quick. Here we go. Can you see it?
Writing lyrics for songs, for local plays, and that I can go write professionally. It was a dream, it's a fantasy. I was pursuing this fantasy. At 18, you can pursue all kinds of fantasies.
In the shadow of Manhattan's towering skyscrapers lies black, sprawling Harlem, greatest Negro metropolis in the world.
My impressions of the Harlem community, in the first place, it was a clean community. It was an orderly community. It was a safe community. It was a community with its customs that we have forgotten now. Street-speaking customs, strolling customs, social customs. There was a time when 7th Avenue, now Adam Powell Boulevard, was the street of choice. And you did not walk down 7th Avenue on Saturday or Sunday without a coat and a tie. There was a custom of getting your lady in your long good suit and walking down 7th Avenue to show her off. You would walk 15 blocks. Sometime when you had $1 or so to spend, you would take on the 5th Avenue open bus all the way down to New York University and all the way back. And she was satisfied, and the whole evening you hadn't spent $1. A lot of times you didn't have one. They sure don't make ladies like that anymore. There was a time there were 3 functioning vaudeville theaters in Harlem, all well patronized. The Lafayette, Harlem Opera House, and the Apollo. The old Lincoln Theater, now a church, used to be a legitimate theater where the plays downtown would be brought uptown with the play with the black cast. Tyrant, show my face. And that was our Broadway. I got involved with the communists and the socialists and other radicals. Began to read literature on the Russia of that day and see movies about Russia. I was never a member of the Communist or the Socialist Party. I was active briefly in the Young Communist League. We were looking for a way out of the condition in which we lived. They opened doors for us and gave us a platform we otherwise did not have. Paul Robeson was the one artist who made the great sacrifice based on commitment. And that commitment is that an artist supposed to use his or her art to change the society in which they live.
Yeah, had to stop that right there, sis.
Great and right on time. Right on time.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brother Tad. Go ahead.
So it was funny you talked about the Communist Party and Paul Robeson, and I love that he talked about how we were duped. At least in his generation, in his time, he was duped. Now this is the great mighty Dr. John Henry Clark that always provides a critical analysis from an African-centered perspective, trained by his teacher, Arturo Schomburg, right on 135th and Lenox. And I think we always have to put things in this proper context, because it seems like it kind of dragged when he talked about from 18, but it's giving you how Harlem was, the behavior, the culture, how everything we keep talking about we want and need, we've already had. But in this society, most people don't know this information, so they act like it's impossible for us to have our own, do our own, and do for self. And that's why it's so critical that we reject so much of the propaganda that's forced on us from mainstream media, though these people act like they're our brothers and sisters and friends and allies and alliances. Because in the same documentary, Dr. Clark told us we have no friends. Malcolm told us, watch out for the foxy liberals. We don't, for some reason, we've got conditioned to not like the truth. So when we hear truth, depends on who it comes from, we reject it. Because even as we talk about leadership, I got one more clip, Sister Keisha, and I'm gonna give away the mic. Because as we talked about deviance in leadership, I would be remiss if I don't talk about this one particular deviant right here. Hold up, let's
announcement. I will be doing my own 20 versus 1. I will pre-screen the candidates.
Man, fuck all that 20v1 goofy shit. Where the school at, nigga? Huh?
Where the school at, man? Why is he talking about 20 versus 1? He's talking about 20 versus 1. 20 women versus him. You get a date.
20 women?
Yes.
20. Well, so Sukiana, Sexy Red, and Glorilla and all that?
Whoever. Like my man. Later for all that goofy stuff. But again, when the date with the doctor, come on, we got to get back to the business of getting back to business. We got, y'all know me, I'm all for the fun and, having a good time, enjoying life, but let's get the work done too. Let's get the work done first. You done had a building for a dean. I wanted my daughter to go. I donated to the school a few times, supported all the events, bought the books, bought t-shirts, bought soap, everything he was selling, trying to get this school open. Now here it is over 10 years later, and you still got a song, a dance, and an excuse, and still call yourself an effective leader, but you don't want to be held accountable. Where the school at, man? Where the school at? Where the school at? Don't tell me you got to build a building.
It's gonna be on Red, Black, and Green Avenue. You gotta wait, Brother Tad. You gotta wait. Be patient, brother.
What, next month, February 30th? You gonna get it for Black History Month, February 30th? Mark it on your calendar. Who's open
Sure you will.
30th?
Sure you will. But good points, Brother Tad, that you brought up, and great videos that you shared with us, because we have to remember that you hear the same rhetoric today, right? When Black people stand up for themselves, they say, "Oh, it's Russian bots. It's the Russians." So please, I want y'all just connect dots. Connect dots. Sister Brooks said, yeah, and he's against reparations.
Yeah, he became an internet personality, no longer the business of African liberation.
He became famous and he lost his way. Unlike Paul Robeson, you see how Dr. Clark mentions Paul Robeson remained true to his talent and his purpose to liberate and educate or edutainment, as we would call it, so that our people will not remain lost. He's just falling for, celebrity this and celebrity that. Once those celebrities start falling, you're going to fall with them. So you should, unfortunately, detach yourself and work on your so-called purpose that you've been telling everyone and no one can see. And everyone is bashing. And I could be bashing too because I put money into it.
You should be, though. And I think that's the problem.
No, I do.
We got to get back to the business of letting people know you're not gonna play with us. As Sinclair and Bumpy Johnson and during the Harlem Renaissance, if you did something wrong in the community, we dealt with you. That's what the whole Stop Snitching campaign was about. We didn't
absolutely, but we don't know how to.
I know how to push ahead.
But
there you go, Sister Keisha. Let him go. Let him go, Sister Keisha. Let him go.
The problem is when it's time to bust heads, everybody want to be on some peaceful kumbaya with those who violate us, whether it's outside community or internally in the community. And this is why nobody takes us serious. This is why you could get a sucker polite throwing the not guilty party when he about to go to jail. How you gonna go to jail and you throwing the not guilty party? Like, I know we in bizarro world right now and we suffering the Mandela effect, but
because people don't know. What people don't know,
he's going to jail.
Well, you know he's going to jail. All those people that purchased that ticket to go to his whatever you call the party is, they didn't know he was going to jail. They didn't know nothing about his cases. They weren't paying attention to it. Yes,
supposed to be smart. I mean,
what folks? The sleeping folks or the woke folks? But the woke folks weren't in the party. Were the woke folks in the party?
Nah, because he like them children that we see. That's why he in jail now.
So that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. The woke folks are not in that party.
But look, Kamala Harris is woke. I don't do woke no more. I don't do woke. Like,
she is not woke.
She said she was.
And then we must clear the definition of what woke means. Because your definition of woke and their definition of woke is not the same. It is not the same. They talking about I'm woke so I can go buy Louis Vuittons. I can go scream, oh my God, I finally got a Hermes bag. Oh, Hermes.
Sis,
their definition of woke.
I just want to stick to the point that we have to clean house. We
absolutely
have to deal with those who transgress upon us.
Well, the way I see it is there's woke and then there's diet woke.
Yeah. Yeah, there's diet woke. And then there's no frills woke. Just in a white can with the blue and red stripe on the bottom.
I just want us to, Brother Kev said, I'm not using woke. I know that's right.
Me neither, Brother Kev.
That's on delete. Sister Pat said, an individual cannot take on that task. You need an organization. Umar has no organization.
Say that again, Sister Pat. Shout out to Sister Pat. Always.
Yes. And I didn't forget you, Sister Pat. I've just been having a lot of family things. Some sick on my father's side, stuff on my mama's side. I didn't forget you. But I wanted to play this clip because I want us to understand how propaganda media works and how they can put accusations on you, even right in front of your face, by using someone who looks like you, that they pay very well. So don't be concerned with salacious gossip. I want you to be concerned with what's put in those documents so that it'll help you to understand history better and know that everything that you're seeing today, they've already done it before. We're going to play this classic throwback interview, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, on an episode of New York 1 with now disgraced Dominic Carter. Here we go, family.
The question was, hasn't he done a whole lot more for Harlem than you have?
And I've already answered you. Somehow you keep missing me.
What have you done for Harlem?
At this very moment that we sit here, I'm bringing Black power, Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism, Black liberation theology, setting the stage and creating the atmosphere for gaining a greater knowledge of ourselves and history and our heritage, so that we based on the program of Garvey and Elijah and Malcolm and Farrakhan and Carlos Cook and others, that we can begin to do something for ourselves instead of always waiting and depending on a handout from the slave master.
So let me talk about Mayor Giuliani for 1 second. You describe him as a cracker. You did it last year, you do it this year. But frankly, and you say you're a leader in the black community.
I didn't say that, sir. You said I'm a leader in the black community. Why are you giving me words here today?
Hasn't Rudy Giuliani?
Did I say I'm a leader in the black community, sir?
You have?
Did I say I'm a leader in the black community, sir?
You claim to be.
I have never said that, sir.
But can you answer my question?
But I don't want you to base your question on a false premise as you do when I'm not present. I'm here today.
Okay, well, what is, besides the...
And the so-called Jews, I say so-called, not in mockery, Brother Dominic. I'm not playing to any cameras. They are the so-called Jews because we are the true Jews, the true Hebrews, the true and real Israelites whose birthright has been stolen by them. We are the true ones that fulfill Bible prophecy and scripture.
Isn't it a fact that you know, by throwing out those terms, you're guaranteed press coverage?
I'm not throwing out terms. I'm fighting age-old enemies, and I'm planting seeds in the minds and hearts of the youth and the masses of my people, that we will not make the same mistakes again.
Do you have a Jewish friend?
No, sir, I do not have a Jewish friend. I am the black Jew. I am the black Hebrew. I am a member of the family of the black Hebrew Israelites. But if you're asking me, do I have a white so-called Jew friend who is not in that line of Semites, so I can't be anti-Semitic? Did you know that there are Semites in Africa? Did you know that there are Semites in Asia? That there are some Semites so black until they're blue black, purple black, and beautiful?
Let me ask you this, and maybe you'll answer it and not attack me, but let me try.
I haven't attacked you, brother.
The Uncle Tom.
I didn't call you an Uncle Tom.
You haven't used it yet. But
well, why accuse me of something I haven't done? Okay. You're just like they are in that instance, but you're not like that in other ways.
Well, here's the question. What is your opinion of Dr. Martin Luther King?
I believe that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a good man. I believe that his heart was good. I believe that he loved our people with all of his being, and he wanted to see us breathe free. I believe that he tactically made one mistake, and that was that he attempted to judge the white man by his own good heart.
And what does that say about Dr. King?
That says that Dr. King was one of the greatest that ever came among us, but like all of us, he was not perfect.
What would Dr. King think of what you're doing? What would, if he were alive today, what the hateful words that you have used to describe people, what would he think?
As we say in the black community, you're too much. I mean, they've given you a list of questions. You're just making sure you go through every one of them. I hope they will give you a bonus, Mr. Carter. What would Dr. King think? You sit here and ask me what Dr. King would think. How could I possibly know what Dr. King would think? I think, though, that maybe Dr. King would understand that when you have a strong, militant, revolutionary, uncompromising voice out there, that it forces the enemy in a position to say, I'd better deal with Martin Luther King Jr. I certainly don't want to deal with the Black Power crew that's out there.
How do you go? And it's amazing. Is this something that you do with blacks that disagree with you? You have to be a Tom or a boot-licking, buck-dancing person. Where does this come from? I mean, you've made this charge several times to me during this interview. You know absolutely nothing about it.
I call you boot-licking?
No, you haven't. But you said, I hope they give you...
Am I disappointing you, Mr. Carter? And since I'm not saying those things, you're just going to give them to me. Is that what's happening?
No.
They're going to be angry with you when you come back because you couldn't get this across. So you're going to give these things to me. I haven't called you that, brother.
My question...
Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, and long live the spirit of Dr.
Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Yes, indeed. Had to play it. Had to come through with the one of all the things that you are hearing as it relates to Dr. King, you know, as you saw right before your eyes, how they would try to manipulate a story, how they would throw things on you. In the film Mosiah, you saw the traitor who came and knew he had no evidence. They convicted that man on an empty envelope, empty envelope. So you don't think that they would throw salacious things on King? You see, Dr. King, when he was working with Stanley Levison, who was a speechwriter for him and also his attorney, they started to change the message of the movement. They came in, and in those documents, you can read it for yourself. They came in and they went to King and told King he got to talk about the Vietnam War. He got to talk about the working poor. You see, grandfather clause and everybody else suffering on ours. When you read those documents, you get an understanding of everything that you're seeing today. It's nothing new. I just don't want you to make the same mistakes again, family. Don't be concerned with salacious gossip. Get to the root of it. Get to the root of it. Family, we've come to the end of our program.
Oh, that flew by.
It did. Next week, we're going to get into it heavy because we're going to expound some more stuff that's coming out. Y'all be ready for next week. But I thank Brother Tad for showing those clips of Dr. John Henry Clark. If you were alive,
Dr. Clark,
if you were alive in that time to sit before that man's feet, he was so tall, and his hands, listen, I'm short, so everybody giant to me. But anyway, but to sit before him, and he was so cool. Like, he would talk with everybody. He wasn't standoffish. He didn't say he was King Kong consciousness. He didn't say he was the most requested speaker. I ain't never. And I sat before Dr. Clark a lot, Dr. Ben a lot. I sat before Shashi McIntyre. I ain't never heard Dr. Collins say that he is the most requested speaker and he's King Kong consciousness. Knock it off. Knock it off. So, Brother Black, your final thoughts and comments. Let's get the people up out of here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Keisha. Great show. Beautiful. Thank you all again for having me. I hope I was on my best behavior, even though Tad was cutting up a little bit. Sister Keisha, I put the chat, I put my latest article in the chat that dealt with media, and even though this show wasn't directly about media, we seem to refer to a lot of stuff that happened in media. So I could appreciate it if you put it out on the banner while I'm talking. Real quick, I wish you had shown the interview that Dominic Carter had done with Mayor Giuliani back then, when he said you're going to have some money to live in New York after the year 2000. And when Dominic checked him on it, he said it like, yo, what I said? Like, I just said what I said. You don't got to ask me again what I meant by what I said. Get ready to see a whole bunch of media psyops. And for those of you who might not know what psyops mean, it means psychological operations. And what happened this morning in DC and what's been happening since maybe like last fall, last year, get ready for more of it. Go check the movie. Great movie on the life and times of the late and great Dr. Mosiah Garvey, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I don't have really too much to say because I think I said enough already. Peace and love to everyone out there. Check my blog out again. If you don't see it on the banner, or if you're blind or whatever the case may be, it's melanininstitute.blogspot.com. Much love to the panel, much love to those watching as we speak, and much love to those who will see this in the future. See y'all next week on the bridge. God bless. Peace and love. One love. Out.
It's also in the chat of Brother Black. And shout out to A New Day Liberation. Brother Black has been on the episodes in the last couple of weeks. He's been killing the game over there. So you can check out that replay on our Thorough Black Talk Facebook page as Wow. Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and commentary.
I'd like to thank the family for always being here. Third Black Talk, all of you. Thank you for just being lively with us. Thank you for the Messiah movie. You brothers, you keep killing it. You keep doing it. What's the next project? You know, we all want to be down. We all want to, like Sister Keisha says, leave our marker in stone, right? Place our names on the stone. So let us know. Brother Tad, shout out to you for those clips because they were on point. And one thing again with Dr. Clark, he was saying about our neighborhoods and how we maintained our neighborhoods and the propaganda now, you know, and over the past few years is that those people are going to come and clean the neighborhood up. You don't have to do it. We pay our taxes, so they got to do it. And we have to be responsible for where we lay not only our heads, but outside our heads, right? Where we're stepping on each and every day. Our streets should not be cluttered with trash just because. And I get it. Maybe in the 80s, they were like, don't clean the streets because those needles you could get whatever during that particular time. That may have been the conversation, but please take care of your streets. It's really important. And I love y'all. And if time may not flourish for you because you got this, make it flourish for it. You will everything that you want in life. It's all about you. Brother Tad?
I just want to thank everybody for rocking out with us tonight. Me and Sister Keisha, I don't know what it is, but we always in sync. Those clips was queued up and everything, and you know, and shout out to Wills Mills. That's who that clip was of Dr. Umar. He's a fairly new Instagrammer, but he's hilarious. He's hilarious. He's funny. He's not for everybody, but if you got a sense of humor, you'll find him very funny. I just want to thank everybody for rocking out with us. Definitely thank Brother Sam and Brother Jirad for coming through and their contribution to the movement with creating that dope film. You know, again, it's on Amazon Prime, everybody. If you don't have it, go get it. Because I know we moving away from Netflix. Shout out to Simo Tap and Dr. James McIntosh and the family over there who's encouraging us to fall back from Netflix until they start showing proper representation. I still chill a little bit on Netflix. Don't tell too many people though, right? But we can move to Amazon Prime a little bit till we really put our coins together and create our own stations where we can show things that are definitely relevant to us. Because of course we don't have BET anymore ever since Viacom bought them. I remember we had our news, we had our programs, we had our voices with Bev Smith. We had so much information on there. In fact, I remember them covering the Million Man March back in 1995, which was so dope. So it's really hard for us to get this conversation, get this information, but we have to be the vanguard of our culture. So hopefully you were inspired by something you heard here tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. Check me out every Sunday, 2 p.m., 2 to 3, OG Wisdom Podcast. Me and my brother C Gutter as we go in. All right. We talk about things that affect us, current events, past events. Just check us out. All right. So hopefully you were inspired by something you heard tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. Remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there is always better days ahead. Sister Keisha. Hold on, let me give myself some applause. Give myself some applause. Yeah.
Hey, Brother Tad, on earth, we just say shots by.
Sister Keisha.
You know I had to get one in at least before the night was over. Come on now.
My brother.
You see, Dr. Filet, you see what happens when you let them out the Bronx? This is what happens. That's why they got to get a pass. This is what happens.
I bypassed Brooklyn and went straight to Philly. Yeah, all right.
That brother Black.
Anyway, just some tidbit before we go. Philly, you know why Philly is the home of the boule? Because during enslavement, of course you have free Black people. Philadelphia had the largest metropolis of free Black people in this union. So it was easy for them to do that. In fact, some of the first recruitments were Black women who helped in the kidnapping clubs. And next week we'll play that, and we'll, share some history with that as well next week. Also, speaking of Amazon Prime, and they not paying me right now, but anyway, I noticed that a lot of people have Prime membership and really don't use the full access of Prime membership. Like, do you guys know that they have closeout sites that you can log in with your Prime membership and not pay shipping? Did you know that they have what you call a haul? I'll explain. I'm going to show you how to save money next week. Did you know that you can, next week, teach you how to save money? But remember, as our brother Ashe SJ always teaches us, true courage is knowing how to suffer. And the battlefield is where you stand. Y'all stay safe out there and look out for each other. We'll catch you back again next week on the Brooklyn Bridge. Good night.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly